Today we tour the snake room.
Proper Royals.
Hey, it's Adam at Proper Royals. I want to give you a tour of my snake room setup today. This is kind of my happy place, so to speak. It's also started as sort of my man room, man cave kind of deal with my guitars and music stuff. And when the time came that we got back into ball pythons, this is where it ended up. My wife said it can't take over the house, so here we are. I'm going to walk you through today my whole setup in here, and I'll show you around some of the fun things that I've got in here too. So on the business end of everything, I've got my snake rack here. This is a DIY rack. I didn't make a video of it yet, but keep an eye out for it. I think I will. I use PVC boards that I got from Lowe's, and those are 3/4 of an inch thick, fairly thick. I tried to do it right. I wanted something plastic that I could wash down and truly sanitize, unlike wood or plywood or even the melamine that has the particle board interior. The tubs that I use are a combination of these 18 these 18-quart hefty locking tubs. I use the locking lids so that I can get versatility in my rack. It's a one-size-fits-all rack right now. As I grow, I'll get more specific racks. And honestly, I probably will get an ARS rack. But I got 13 snakes ranging from hatchlings to big mature females. And we'll have, this is kind of a juvenile, but we'll have true, day one hatchlings eventually as well. And this setup with these locking lids will allow me to use interchangeable tubs. So this is the rack. As you've seen from the other videos, I finally got it outfitted. One full strip of, I don't know if you can see it up there, so maybe on this one. One full strip of heat tape in there. And then I'm still running the pretty cheap thermostats on the side here, but there's only 2 thermostats that run the whole rack now. So I'm really happy with the heat system. Next step on the upgrade list will be probably a VE300, and that will allow me to regulate the rack and the heating system in the room all in one thermostat. So I'll probably get a VE300 for in here, and I'll probably do a VE100 for the incubator when the time comes. So that's the heat rack. Up top, I have my workstation here. This is just water on here, so if I need to raise humidity in the cocoa, or if somebody's going in the shed or that kind of thing. A little tub of supplies. I've got my gloves, pens, and then actually I keep all my notes on specific clipboards. So this is a 5-day rotation feeding. This is my one live mouser feeder that I have. This is my group of 7-day feeding rotation. And this is my girl that eats frozen thawed mice as well. So I keep them all organized. That's all 13 snakes worth of notes. There's a rack up close. Again, those are 18-quart Hefty brand tubs. These are 32-quart Hefty brand tubs for my adults, and they're plenty big. You can't see because she's back in her hide back there, but this girl is 2,300 grams. That's my big girl Jenny in there, and this is my big boy Strike. He's got plenty of space as well. He's also in his hide, and he's 1,600 grams. Over here is my feeding prep area. So I've covered this in my feeding video, but I really love this setup. This is just an old stepladder here, and I'll show you up close. But I've got a CHE lamp right here that I have mounted on the top handle, and then I use a hide as a food tray. And what I do is after I've brought the rodents up to room temperature, I put them in here. 60-watt CHE, the 120 will cook them. 60 keeps it pretty nice, and that, I don't know, 3-4 inches, 4 inches probably, seems to be the right temperature to where they don't get too hot. and I can feed them right away. I like the the rats. Mice I like a little bit lower. The rats I like right at about 110, 112. This is how I heat the room. I use an ambient oil-filled radiator. I got this one off of Amazon. If you search new and used or warehouse options off of Amazon, I got this for 26 bucks. I think it was a return that they repackaged or something. Full warranty, all that. It works great. This is a 1500 watt, and I keep it set on the middle power setting. And then this thermostat here is how I regulate this heater. So again, when the time comes, I'll get a VE300. I'll use one of the channels to regulate the room heat, the ambient heat, and I'll use the other channel, so to speak, for the snake rack. The last thing over here that I'll show you is the fan. I use this to circulate the air so that the heat doesn't just rise to the top. I noticed even just with this is a 4-foot high rack. I was noticing a temperature gradient of about 3 degrees from the lowest to the highest. I put the fan on, and sometimes I'll see maybe 1 degree, but that's about it. So this is the cooking setup I was talking about. You can see the CHE mounted up there. That's a Honeywell fan. And what, Pelonis is the brand on the heater. So this out here is the incubator setup. You see it's right adjacent to the snake room there. So I have it set up ready to go. And in a month or two, we'll have some eggs in there. All right, and the last part of my setup area is right down in here. This is our kitchen. So we have a lower basement that we rent out as an apartment. And during the pandemic, that's really not been an option because it's attached to our house. And so we use it for hobby space and playroom and that sort of thing. One day we might get back to renting it, maybe not. But I got my sink down here. I got some of the chemicals, F10 over there. I got my ivermectin if I need it for quarantine. God forbid, might show up again. That hopefully is only a one-time deal. I got a dedicated fridge. Beer and rodents go in that fridge there. That's the honest truth. And a little counter workspace there. Again, I try and keep everything really tidy and organized. One thing I do is a little trick for everybody. I have just dedicated thawing. When I go from freezer to fridge, I thaw in these Tupperware containers, mark it with an R for rodent. And I keep separate ones for my rats and the mice. I don't know if it's true or not, but I seem to notice that if I try and feed my mousers on the same night as the rat eaters, they don't eat. I think they smell the rats and it throws them off. So I feed mice on one night and I feed rats on another, and I thaw them in separate containers over there. All right, so that's all the snake business. I thought I'd share one thing with you before I go, and that's, of course, the dude. He's from The Big Lebowski. Those of y'all that don't know, check him out. The dude definitely abides. He keeps an eye on everything in here. In the snake in the music room, that was the very first gift that the woman who became my wife and is my wife got for me when we first started dating. She bought that at an art gallery in Savannah, Georgia, and that's when I knew she was probably going to be the woman for me. She got the artist to sign it. There's a cool note from the guy on the back. Says, careful here, there's a beverage, man. So anyhow, take care. Thanks for joining me today. Cheers to you wherever you are. See you next time.